When someone brings up climate change, we normally think about farms, forests, or fresh water, but we don't think about how the ocean has been impacted. So our group is going to talk about how the ocean has been impacted by climate change.
Cool. My name is Alex Valdez, and my subtopic is dealing with ocean acidification. Basically, ocean acidification deals with CO2 in our atmosphere and also in our oceans. Ever since we started burning fossil fuels hundreds of years ago, CO2 has started creeping into our oceans. While this is a good thing because it's not being let into our atmosphere, it can also be very harmful to our oceans. CO2 hits the water and it chemically reacts with it. They release a bunch of little hydrogen molecules, and this can kind of cause some real trouble for some of the critters down in the ocean, such as crabs, oysters. All of these creatures use chemicals from the water, such as carbonate ions, to go ahead and build up their shells and fully develop into the mature adults that they'll one day be. But the hydrogen molecules kind of act as a competition for these carbonate ions and take away from the development of the oysters and of the crabs. This can prove to be very harmful to the food chain system, just because if the crabs and the oysters don't have the necessary materials needed to grow, they die off quicker, they can't defend themselves from predators, and so if they die off quicker, the animals that eat them are going to die off quicker, and the animals that eat them are going to die off quicker, which in turn leads all the way up to humans not eating enough fish that we are used to eating. Ultimately, if we continue to have a bunch of CO2 in the ocean, it's going to end up with coral reefs dissolving, crab shells dissolving completely, and also oyster shells dissolving completely too. So fossil fuels ultimately started this problem, and the decrease of the use of fossil fuels can ultimately end this problem too.
Hi, my name is Maha Mubarak, and today I'll be discussing how warmer temperatures affect corals in the ocean. Coral bleaching is the loss of endosymbiotic algae from the coral either through expulsion or loss of algae pigmentation. Coral bleaching occurs when corals are stressed, mostly due to conditions of temperature, light, and nutrients. If the stress is not severe, they can survive. However, if algae loss is prolonged, they can eventually die. The process of coral bleaching is pretty simple. Coral and algae depend on each other to survive. So when the coral gets stressed, algae ends up leaving. The coral is then left bleached and vulnerable. According to the article, What is Coral Bleaching? By the National Ocean Service, in 2005, the United States lost so many of its coral reefs in the Caribbean due to massive bleaching events of warm water.
Hi, my name is Christy Gilbert, and I'm going to talk about how climate change has affected migration of fish. The ocean is able to absorb heat and carbon dioxide, but it can only absorb so much before its equilibrium starts to change. Ocean temperature has increased by 2 degrees since 1901, causing fish to leave certain areas to survive in cooler habitats. The shifts of fish population moving closer to the pole has largely affected nations closer to the equator that depend on fish for their food source. Tarpon is a type of fish in the U.S. that is regularly caught in July and August off the Atlantic coast of eastern shore of Virginia. Now they show up in Maryland, parts of Chesapeake Bay around Solomon Islands. The Black Sea bass and summer flounder has also been caught farther north than normal. Climate change has resulted in fish populations migrating north because the Arctic Ocean's temperature of water is more feasible for fish to survive in.
Hi, my name is Julian Sanchez, and my subtopic is going to be on the positive feedback loop. And essentially what this is a loop of effects that causes climate change to amplify. And so what this would, an example of this would be if the sun were to reflect on the glaciers, homeostasis would be the white glaciers being able to reflect the sunlight due to their white color. Now, if the climate change were to affect these glaciers and cause them to melt, it would cause these glaciers to shrink in size and then have the ocean levels rise, causing the ocean to be darker than the glaciers, which would increase the sunlight to be absorbed into the area due to the dark color of the ocean instead of the glaciers. But this also kind of works in conjunction with the ozone layer. Any sunlight that is reflected would be reflected back and trapped inside, causing the ocean to get hotter, causing the poles to get hotter, causing these glaciers to shrink even further. So that would be an example of a positive feedback loop. But there's an endless number of these, or several number of these, within the ocean environment that cause the ocean to continuously warm. So, such as CO2 leaking into the ocean, causing it to be acidic, causing more fish and species to die, which would in turn cause other species to die. So that would be a sort of like positive feedback loop that would do harm to the ocean environment.
Hello, my name is Gula Eduarza, and I'm going to be talking about the drowning wetlands. Wetlands are important because they provide valuable habitat to hundreds of thousands of fish and bird species worldwide. They also play a critical role as natural water filters, capturing fertilizer polluted runoff from agricultural fields that contaminate drinking water. Wetlands normally grow vertically fast enough to keep up with sea level rise, but recently the sea has been rising too fast for wetlands to keep their blades above water. Coral reefs and seagrass meadows are also in danger of drowning, since they can only photosynthesize in relatively shallow water. Countless coastal communities around the globe rely on wetlands to act as the first line of defense against storms, floods, and other environmental threats. The loss of wetlands in places such as the Mississippi River Delta is a huge threat to the region. One way to help preserve our local wetlands is to only plant native species of trees and flowers and avoid contaminating our wetlands.
Ocean warming is an important issue because it ties into the current event issue of global warming today. And this is because global warming kind of plays a big part in warming our ocean and affecting all these underwater species. This is very harmful for us, including because when we put our underwater species at risk, not just coral but fish and other kind of animal species, we put the entire food chain at risk. And so later on, maybe not now that we notice problems that are going to happen to us, but it can happen in the future, in very near future. Efforts to stop these events can be just finding cleaner energy solutions or just cutting out certain chemicals that are dumped into the ocean, stop pollution, try to protect underwater species as best as we can. There hasn't been a lot of specific talk about trying to keep the ocean from warming, but the effects of stopping solutions from the source, such as cleaner energy solutions, can have a big impact and kind of keep the ocean from warming and have us enough time to be able to fix that problem.